What's up, fellas? It's your main man. Back on the scene with another video. Disney's Boy Trouble. Studio seeks original IP to win back Gen Z man amid Marvel Lucasfilm struggles. That's your fault because you're dumb. Let's just get to it. You're dumb. You had Star Wars. At the time Disney purchased Star Wars, Star Wars was the biggest IP there ever was. This was pre-Marvel, before Marvel became the big dog. They had it. They had a built-in audience. All they had to do was give them what they want. But nah, they went on that toxic masculinity rampage, anti-white man rampage. Never mind the fact that the white man is the biggest demographic that spends all the goddamn money. That didn't matter. You bought male IPs, things that appeal to men, and try to turn them into women. I mean, goddamn, you can't be that stupid, man. What did you think was going to happen? Men like what they like. Women like what they like. You don't see men bitching about male-centric romance novels and pony books and all that stuff. These dudes don't like that stuff. That's just how it is. Whatever demographic likes whatever, that's how it is. All you have to do is give them what they want. But they have to push the message. So that the anti-white man, the anti-man sentiment is not paying off. That's like, duh. Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty aren't the only ones looking for a prince. You sure they're not looking for a girlfriend these days? I mean, this is Disney. Leadership at Walt Disney Studios has been pressing Hollywood creatives in recent months. Multiple sources tell Variety for movies that will bring young men back to the brand in a meaningful way. Young men is defined by the sources as ages 13 to 28. I'm going to give you weirdos some game. A lot of this stuff is passed down by the parents. Now, I got into Superman. Both of my parents watched Superman. My pops watched Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon. So I'm watching TV with my pops. This stuff is getting passed down because I'm watching it with my family. You know, my mom's watched more fantasy stuff like Jason and the Argonauts and Hercules, blah, blah. But it's still basically the same genre. Sci-fi, fantasy. I got introduced to that from my family. Dark Shadows. My grandmother watched Dark Shadows. When she used to babysit us, I got into Dark Shadows because of my grandmother. But you pushed away the people that were at the age that they can introduce these IPs to their children. So you missed out on that. It's just dumb. It's like, who hired these mofos, man? Goddamn. I'm like, I don't care what demographic likes what. If let's keep it a buck. The biggest demographic for sci-fi fantasy is white males. That is the money. Plain and simple. That's the big money. If you're not catering to them or you don't like them, you want to push them out the way, you can't complain later on that you're not making no money. You had a built-in audience. If you wanted to bring in, give you an example. Just take Marvel for instance. Stan Lee back in the 60s recognized that black men weren't buying their books, so what did they do? They didn't change their character black. They created new black characters to appeal to black men. That's how you do it. You don't change stuff. You don't erase stuff. You introduce new characters to attract a new demographic. It's quite simple. But you don't give up your bread and butter. First, every film studio is looking for better ways to convert young audiences into habitual moviegoers. Numerous studies show that Gen Z men in particular, are a lonely, gaming, obsessed group who were hampered in their formative years by COVID-19 lockdowns. Not the easiest segment to. You could have. This is dumb. You could have got them. If they're sitting in front of the computer, all you had to do was make stuff. You could have made some good stuff on Netflix, which I thought it was dumb for all these other studios to come up with their own streaming site. Sony has the right idea. Sony, the CEO of Sony, felt that it's more profitable to just lease what they already have to Netflix rather than to spend all that money, billions of dollars in servers and bandwidth and blah, 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 this and that, to compete with Netflix. Just lease them the stuff. Let that stuff stay on Netflix. That's how they should have done it. But they could have got that. Even in the gaming went weirdo. All this anti-male stuff, anti-white male, you lost money doing that stuff. You have no one to blame but your own dumbass self. It's not the easiest segment to grasp, but what's surprising to producers, writers, and other partners in the larger industry is that Disney has been calling for original concepts to lure the demo back to the movies. You already had what you needed. You have Marvel. You have Star Wars. You have what you needed. All you have to do is make what they like. That's it. Stop with all the weirdo nonsense. This is the same Disney whose multi-billion-dollar content engines, Marvel and Lucasfilm, have sated men of all ages for almost 2 decades since the company acquired them. Sources say Disney has been seeking new IP pitches, such as splashy global adventures and treasure hunts, as well as seasonal fare-like films for the Halloween corridor. The calls come as the Star Wars machine struggles to produce any film project, and a superhero genre sheds audience by the minute. Again, make what they want. It's just that simple. There's no magic formula. It doesn't take 1,000 IQ to figure this out. Just basic logic. Make what they want. The audience is already there. You kind of blew it again, because if you hadn't turned their fathers off, they would have been introduced to them and they would be watching this stuff like my parents did. I got into this stuff because my parents watched this type of stuff. I'm not going to read all this. It's just dumb. The bottom line is, make what men like and you will get paid. It's not rocket science. Anyways, brothers, I'm not going to drag this one out. Do your main man a favor. Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button. Ring that notification bell. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. And I will see you brothers in the next video. Peace.